What sound does a lion make? Roar. What sound does a lion make when he's about to die? They say life is about finding moments, people, and experiences that shape you. But what I have found is life truly is about being seen by beings, even if they come with fur, feather, roots, or leaves. So let me start with a story, because that's what I'm good at. Last year, on a project, I was in Tanzania. And I witnessed something that's so powerful and heartbreaking that it stayed with me, and it keeps coming back to me every now and then. As soon as I entered Tanzania, we saw this lion. He had his black mane, a beautiful alpha, king of the pride. But he had just met with a very bad fight with a couple of Cape buffaloes. And that's what my guide told me. And so his hind legs were swollen. They were blue. You could see his bones. And because I was with the conservation team, we kept tracking him, following him around. And slowly, and very slowly, he started moving away from his pride. He was limping, and now you could see his ribs. And his eyes were half closed, and he was getting weaker and weaker until he settled under a tiny acacia tree. That's when my guide told me something that really changed the way I look at a lot of things in life. He said, when the lion knows his time has come, he doesn't fight it. He surrenders to the earth, the wind, and the sky. And that's the paradox of surrendering. It's the softest kind of strength. And that brings me to my journey. Yeah. Back in college, or actually as a child, I was truly never anybody's special person. I got bullied all my life. I always wanted to belong, and I tried very, very hard to just be liked, to be loved, to be appreciated, like any other girl my age. But that never happened. And so when I was 16, I was in college, when a group of young girls, like the way in Tanzania a pack can spot weakness, a bunch of girls decided to bully me. They beat me up. I was crushed to ground. I still have scars, very few physical. But the scars that stayed emotionally, mentally, stayed a bit longer. It really shattered me, and I didn't know what I did wrong. And it really felt like pain I had to keep practicing, because why can't anyone like me, you know? And I think after that, a year later, I saw one of the girls in the front page of a newspaper. And it really broke me. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to be happy. I want to look successful. I want to be all the things that this girl is. And to be everything these girls thought I'll never be. And so I became an actor, mostly out of revenge. And I did come in the newspaper for a very funny article, actually. But all this movies, awards, my life got shinier, brighter, happier from far. And this whole being liked, that's the paradox of belonging, you know. The more you try to belong, the more you try to chase, you're really drifting away from yourself. In a space like the film industry, where everyone is competing for fame, attention, money, power, kindness kind of takes the back door. And so, I always felt invisible. I mean, more than invisible, I think isolated. I didn't know what to do. And that brings me to the most important part of my life. So, the day I adopted my pet indie, Gunda. I picked up Gunda. He was in front of a drain in front of my house. But more than me rescuing him, he rescued me. He really showed me how to love. He became my life, my friend, my teacher, my everything. And once he started loving me for exactly who I am, my life seemed so effortless. I didn't have to try so hard to be loved. And he gave me everything. In moments with him, I didn't feel like I don't belong anywhere. And so my love, not just for myself, for things around me, for people around me, everything grew a lot. And that's when, suddenly, after 13 years of our friendship, he left. I was completely shattered. I again was isolated. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to talk to. I was back to square one. And that's the thing about love. That's also a paradox. Love will break you only to show you that you are never truly broken. So I had so much love to give, but nowhere to go. And slowly, I started seeing my Gunda everywhere, in other animals. And I felt a little bit guilty because he was my son, and how do I love someone else? But I made a promise to my Gunda. I named a star after him. The more I'll give love, the more animals I love, I'll somehow make all this love reach him. Which is where I made a promise to him and started loving all animals. I started working for NGOs. I started investing in animals. Every time I acted in a film, a part of my savings went into adopting animals or working for animals. And slowly, something truly magical happened. The more love I gave, it sort of came back with a lot of compound interest. And my heart just got bigger and bigger. So I adopted snakes, owls, bears, tigers, dogs, name it. I had all the animals. And that's when I realized I want to do more of this. I want to do more. I want to give more. And so I started my foundation, Praana Animal Foundation. Yeah. So I started with a free ambulance service, 24/7 for all strays. And now we have a shelter, and we've rescued and looked after over 4,000 dogs. And the beauty of loving animals, especially the ones that have been abandoned or abused, is how they always trust you and have more love to give. That's so humbling to know. Because of human beings' arrogance or our greed, we kind of neglect animals and don't look after them. But somehow, animals always find a way to give us back. So sometimes I get these recovery stories and it makes me cry. But what's most interesting about this is, for the first time in my life, I wasn't chasing acceptance. I wasn't chasing validation. I didn't want the applause. But it all came. I'm here today for a TED Talk because of Praana. And I feel full because of Praana. So, but the thing about animals is, the more love you give them and the better you become, your love sort of seeps into everything else in your life, which is where I want to give more. So I have sort of started a production house, Samyukta Films, to tell more stories, to produce, write, and direct films so that people feel seen, safe, and alive through the point of view of nature and animals. So I want to give as much as I can, and that's the only way I know how to give, through love. And going back to the lion story, which is about surrendering when it's time, rising when it's time, accepting life, failing and falling when it's required. Because life truly is about holding on and letting go, and the dance between wanting to be seen and learning to see. And I think that is the timeless flux we're all a part of. My Ajji used to always tell me, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Again and again we're born, and again we die. And so it's so important to accept that, and like the lion who surrender, the strongest guy in the savannah, surrender to life so gracefully. It takes so much strength to be so soft, to be accepting of life. And I hope that happens to all of us. Thank you.